talking about something that affects you and I as Nigerians. Now, for generations, corporal punishment has been used as a tool for discipline, especially in schools. I would say most Nigerians, growing up back then, you would remember that using cane as a means of discipline in school was something that was like a norm. You would be caned for not paying your school fees, as if it is your fault that your parents did not pay your school fees, and you will be caned and sent home to your parents. You got caned for your parents' inability to pay your school fees. It just wasn't adding up to me back then. Like, why are you caning me? It's my parents that didn't pay my school fees. I'm not the one that told them not to pay my school fees. Why am I being caned for it? So such disciplines, you'll be caned for coming late, whether it's your fault or not. Sometimes your parents delay you, but you'll be caned for coming late. You'll be caned for not performing well in some subjects academically, not minding if you have the ability to perform in those subjects or not. Now, this has raised concerns over time. This started off from a viral video that trended on social media through the weekend of a teacher who physically abused a 3-year-old boy for not being able to write the number 6. A 3-year-old boy. For 3-year-olds, I see they just finish between 1 to 3. Those are early education for children, and that 3-year-old has probably not even gotten his speech formation right. And the video was so gruesome to watch, how she kept on hitting the boy over and over again, across the face, on the head, with a pen, whatever she found around her, because he wasn't able to write the number 6. Now, that video sparked lots of reactions. People spoke about how this is a normal thing in schools and why Nigerians kicking against it. But it's not normal. Why would a child, not even minding the age, be hit this much? Now, as we're opening our phone lines today for this discussion, I want us to reflect on this experience that resonates with so many of us. Growing up in Nigeria, countless children have felt the sting of a cane or a slap of a ruler in the name of discipline. And these memories are not just stories, they are lived experiences that have shaped our perceptions and our behaviors, whether we choose to admit it or not. Consider a classroom a place meant for learning and growth, where you're meant to be comfortable to assimilate knowledge, now becomes a place of fear and anxiety, where the presence of a cane is what fosters that atmosphere. The fear of, that instrument being used to discipline you. An environment that could cause students to withdraw and become disconnected with the educational process because they are more scared of the cane and the teacher than focusing on actually gaining knowledge. Now, reflecting on these practices is essential to recognize the long-term psychological effects of corporal punishment on children. Whether we like it or not, these punishments had effects on children and on us, even those of us that experienced it growing up. So today on the show, we're inviting you as our listeners to come in and, contribute on this conversation. Schools have evolved. Learning have evolved. How children have been educated have evolved. But why is this still happening? So we want to know, where do we draw the line between corporal punishment, correction, and discipline? Where do we draw the line between correction and cruelty? Where would we draw the line between correcting a child and being outright wicked and cruel and mean to that child? What impact does this have on children? As an adult that experienced it, how did this make you feel going to school every day? Did you feel like you were going to a safe space where you would learn and ask questions freely without being caned for asking a question that because you honestly do not understand, but you were made to feel dumb and caned because of that question? We want to get your thoughts on that. What impact does this have on the child's mental well-being? Are they more effective alternatives for maintaining disciplines in schools? Would love to hear your thoughts. The phone lines are open. Please do well to call in. The numbers will be displayed on your screen shortly. Do well to call in. We want to know your thoughts. Corporal punishment, discipline, or abuse. Send the WhatsApp messages too. We're here to take them. Let's take our first call for today. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my name is Ade. I'm calling from London.
Ade, it's good to have you from London. Thank you so much. Go ahead with your thoughts.
First of all, I want to appeal to Nigerian television, all TV in Nigeria. Please, can you stop showing it? Because people, the way they will see it here will be different. Show the still picture. Because your TV is even showing it now. How they smack that shit is not good. It's not projecting our country, a nice country. Please. All the TV in Nigeria they should show the still picture, not the live one, please.
All right.
Then secondly, like you rightly said, During our time, they flog you, they do all sorts of things. You even remove your trouser or your knicker there.
Sure.
They flog you, and your parents will support them. That discipline there. But now, it's a different era. What happened in London is this. Both secondary school, primary school and secondary school. If any child behaved rudely or they did anything that's wrong, there's a room dedicated, they call it detention room. So by the time when they are closing by 3:15, when it's 3 o'clock, they will send them to that room. And they will sit, whoever there, they will sit down in that room. So by the time the school closes, he or she will miss our friends, our companies, when they close, chatting, going home, all this, he or she will miss that. They will be in that detention room. The parent comes to school. When the parent now comes to school, they say, you will realize that your child has messed up. So you don't go to that detention room and get your child. So the child will be going home alone, while all their mates have gone home since. So children don't like that. So they will behave the next day. So they don't smack them, they just put them in detention room. So that room is, in the school there. So they will just isolate them there. If they are 3 or 4, they will just be there. But they will make sure they miss the time or when they close. Because they won't put them immediately, but when it's getting time to closing time, they will send them there. So they will miss that home going. They will go late. So that's what they do in UK here. But I know if they can pass law in Nigeria, it will safeguard the children and the teachers, and most especially the private schools. They should be able to train their teachers to know that we are in an era now, you don't smack a child because you don't know the health condition of that child. So anything can happen. So that's my own view about this issue. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much, Ade, for pointing that out. You don't smack children. You find ways to discipline that will make them reflect on their behaviors and correct themselves. You would wonder, what would a 3-year-old, what would be the first line? Why would a 3-year-old be thinking? They do have thinking abilities and they are able to reflect. That is why you raise them. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Able to reflect. I raise them. Let's take this. Name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set? We're having a feedback here in the studio that's quite uncomfortable.
Yes, I've done that already.
All right, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Honorable Bode from Benin State.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I want to thank Trust TV for this topic. This topic is a very crucial topic discussing worldwide. And concerning, if you look at culture and tradition, they varies in the issue of corporal punishment and some institutions. But my recommendation is that corporal punishment shouldn't be encouraged. One thing that should be encouraged is reinforcement. Why reinforcement should be encouraged is that, for instance, when I was growing up, I have a younger sister. When he started misbehaving, I called her, I sat her down. I told her that look at the consequences of what you are doing to the family and even to yourself when you grow up. She went on her knee and said, "Thank you, senior." While my elder brother was disciplining her, beating her, talking to her rudely, when I spoke with her, discussed with her, sat her down, she see the reason why she has to stop what she was doing. Because I have shown her the consequences or how it will affect her life when she grows up and the effect it will cause to the family. She now changed. Till today, she remained the best sister today in my family. Secondly, like in school, there should be a need, instead of even American or other foreign country having a room or a place whereby they will now put them to teach them until they went to their home lonely. To me, it's not even encouraged. The best thing, there should be someone there telling them of the consequences of what they are doing, why they should be focusing on their educations and the result they will get at the end, so that when they reflect on most of those effects, they will now sit up and at the end of the day get everything right in life. And I think reinforcement should be encouraged Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for that. And I also thank you for sharing, the experience and, an effective method you use that did work. Reinforcement, encouragement, and clear communication. If you're talking to children, you let them know the consequences of their action. And another method I usually talk about is, take one of their favorite toys from them, something that means a lot to them, and tell them it's because you did this, that is why I did that. You have to let them know why you did what you did to them, so they would know that this is the repercussion for their actions. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, well, my name is Musa Abubakar Idada. I'm calling from the Below Government area.
Good morning, Mr. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, in my own opinion, I cannot say that that teacher was trying to punish the child, but she was trying to discipline him. But the weight of the slap she gave him.
Do we still have we lost the call? Well, do well to call us back. We're not focusing on the video per se. We're talking about, yes, we saw the video. Everybody have seen it, and we've seen but that child is a 3-year-old. Why would you be that harsh to a 3-year-old because the child couldn't write number 6? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. Thank you so much for joining us. How is Maiduguri this morning?
Alhamdulillah, Maiduguri school. We thank God.
All right.
It is time for it is Ramadan time.
True.
It is dusty and cool.
And cool. It's good to know. All right, go ahead with your thoughts. So what's your thoughts on corporal punishment and discipline? Did you experience it growing up, and did it have any effect on you?
Honestly speaking, Lilian, corporal punishment, it will not help the society at any way. And I think no religion, neither or a culture that encourages that corporal punishment. It is an adult wicked heart that are doing it. And any part like the one that you show on your screen now, I think that teacher must be I will rather suggest let him go for psychiatric screening. Let him assess his brain. How can you be caning a 3-year-old child? It is funny, and it will sound very embarrassing for you as a teacher. There is certain age a child cannot be experiencing cane or a pain of cane in his brain. Any child that below the age of 6, you are not supposed to beat him. And even above the age of 6, there is many ways that you can punish a child. If a child misbehaves, ask him to pick or to sweep the compound. That could be, could be reasonable. And he have contributed in hygiene, and also you have just punished him, like the way that Mr. Ade talks. That's the sound way of punishing a child. But all these dropout children that you are seeing, they dodge school because of this caning, and that is why they have become nuisance now to the society. And you see all these Boko Haram bandits that you are seeing, they are product of this corporal punishment. Because whenever you have been beating a child, what you have been telling him that the society are wicked, so he will become an enemy to the society. So we should please be knowing. Even though I know children deepers. They bury, some child, a word can correct him. But others, you have to open your eyes and shout to him. But I think there is certain ages a minor should not be just using cane and just beat him. That's my takes.
Thank you very much, Shatima. Thank you very much for your thoughts. There's actually a very thin line between discipline and abuse. And when it comes to beating, I see it as abuse completely, because that person is a human being. You as an adult wouldn't want to be hit that way. It doesn't matter the age, 3, 5, 10, 15, 13. Communication is key. This person has the ability to understand what it is you're communicating to them. Clear communication for the age range is something that matters and can work for children. Discipline, because you did this, that is why I did that. Because you did this, that's why I'm asking you to, you're grounded, stay in your room and reflect on your action. It works for me, and I've seen it productive for so many families. And you find well-behaved kids out there because they know that their parents are disciplined, not necessarily through cane. Cane only brings fear, doesn't bring the discipline you expect. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. All right, we lost the call. Okay, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Chuks. I'm calling from River State.
Oh, Mr. Chuks, how is Pataka this morning? Are people feeling the Hamatan there, or is hot?
It's not much like that. We're enjoying it.
All right. All right. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, my suggestion to the topic is Nigeria have repeated what they're showing. What are you sending a child of 3 years to go to school, to go and read words? Why can't you copy from Ghana? If you watch Ghanaian, before you go to start primary one, you must be up to 6 years old. As that small child now, it doesn't know the name of the school. The only thing that I see, we're looking for cheating things. We're cheating nature. Nature is not cheating us. That's why I can say a professor that conducts an election. If there are 200 people, we say that it's 2,000. What is the child now doing in that school? At that age, the parents cannot take care of the child for good 6 or 5 years before sending the child to school. What is he learning there? We thought that we are teaching nature. The only thing that I'm not happy the way the lady knocked the child, even though to knock the bomb is better than to slapping the child. I look at that child here. Is he cut or is he a dada or Rastafaria? There's a lot of things we are putting wrong with this country that we are wise. We are not wise. This is the school we go today. An engineer in Nigeria cannot even produce fuels. We say we are going to school. See what they have turned the whole country upside down. Nobody knows anything. They need to stay. You see somebody going to school. From school, you go and buy motor and give the parents. And the parents are clapping, dancing. That God have done it for we. A pastor will say, come and sow seed. We are cheating ourselves, and it's going to boomerang. Let me warn Nigeria. This is money. What is happening now is money. Because even though you watch the government does not know what to do to solve this problem of subsidy we put today. That child is too young to start school. He doesn't know what it can be. Thank you, and God bless TVC. Thank you.
Trust TV, thank you very much for that. Like he said, there are curriculums that support learning for children at that young age in Nigeria. And that is because things have changed, things have adjusted. One thing I know, I am not an educationist, would have one in the studio here to educate us properly on that. But one thing I know is that at that age, even when you watch their cartoons, learning is through play and encouragement. It's through play you get to know the child's strengths and weaknesses. That is how I know learning has been for my children when they start at that young age. In Nigeria, age 3 is when children start school, and it's play from top to bottom, as in they play, it's through play they learn colors and shapes and numbers. They have rhymes that they sing at that age that helps them understand these things. But why corporal punishment is something that's in our society? Is it changing? Have we been able to eradicate it with the changing mindset we're seeing? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone?
Okay. Good morning. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Abuja.
Mohammed, where in Abuja are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abuja in FCT in Cairo.
Cairo, it's good to have you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hello?
Yeah, please turn down the volume of your TV set. We might have to let you go because we're getting feedback here and we can't hear you properly. So please turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone.
I've turned down the radio.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Abuja, Cairo.
Go ahead with your thoughts. I can hear you.
Okay, my my thought is that this issue when we are dragging now is these children now, they want teacher in the time when we are in school. If we late, our teacher know how to handle us, and also tell our parents, say see. But now you can't, children of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down to the school. When the teacher just want to address her, the parent will just come out and be saying no. That is why all these our children of nowadays, they have started doing Yahoo, Lowe, and all kind of things, because there's no home training. Teachers now, they know how to handle a child again, because you touch a little pikin now, the parent will just come and carry police arrest you, and then I started losing their job because they don't have money to feed at home. So government is supposed to know how to treat all this kind of manner of pikin. In all the days when I was in the school, is our prefect used to deal with us. We do clear bush if we do things wrong, and our parents went to the school and said, please help me to handle this my child. Now the same that parent, we went to school, say, why did you touch my children? If you don't want someone to touch your children, keep it at home.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand your point. Are you saying that children should be beaten or children should not be beaten?
Hello,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand your point. You're saying if you don't want someone to touch your children, keep them at home. Are you saying that the school should be beating children, and if parents don't want their children should be beaten, the parents should not take the children to school?
The children, the parents of nowadays does not like their children to be schooling. They just send them to just go and just come back because of they have money to buy them a resort, whatever. Because allow teachers to do their work.
So you are saying that teachers should be beating children in school? Is that part or educating them?
What I'm watching on the screen is not so part of teaching a child to write well.
Okay.
There's a children that if you say something in the mouth, it did not say a word. But you tap it a little, it's okay. You never tap it so hard.
All right.
We used to we used to went to farm, they were punishing us in the school. We went farm, we do all sorts of things because of why? Because of tomorrow we should not spoil. Children of nowadays, they can live to go scissors on the knicker, all sorts of things.
So are you saying
hello?
Yeah, are you saying that they should be punished instead of being beaten? Because I'm trying to understand your point of view.
What I want to say is that they should not be scaring all these our teacher that they are there to do
their
job.
All right, thank you very much for that thought. I thank you so much. I look forward to having an education in the studio here who is going to tell us the right way for teachers to do their job. I, as a parent, I know that teachers, and as a child who grew up having teachers, I felt a lot more comfortable around those teachers who were soft-spoken and were a safe haven for me to run to. I felt a lot more comfortable around those teachers who would rather encourage me to do the things the right way rather than bring out their cane and whoop me, and at the end of the day I still won't get it right because no knowledge was passed using that stick. But quickly now, before we take some more calls, let's take some WhatsApp messages. We have a message from Ibrahim from Kebbi State. Ibrahim Pocher from Kebbi said the suspension of the teacher is a good step to take because the boy is not up to the years to differentiate between the wrong and right side of it. The boy is just 3, and that goes to children in general, not just the boy but to children in general. We also have a quick call. She says, good morning, madam, from Augustina in Buari. Good morning, madam. The way she hit the child was too hard. That could even lead to ear problem. No one said the child should not be beaten, but it was just too hard. Thank you, Augustina, for your thought, but we're not saying the child shouldn't even be beaten in the first place. Beating instills fear, and fear is counterproductive to an educational environment, which is what we're all saying at the end of the day. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. It's counterproductive to an educational environment, which is what we're all saying at the end of the day.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just heard myself over and over again. Please turn on the volume of your TV set.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, thank you very much. Is it clearer now?
Yeah, it's better. Go ahead.
Good. My name is Kenneth. I'm calling from Abuja.
Kenneth, it's good to have you on the show. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you so much. And when we talk about corporal punishment, thank you so much. When we talk about corporal punishment, it's not for children. Children shouldn't receive corporal punishment. There's an age for corporal punishment. It was clearly a case of abuse for a child of 3 to be beaten in the way she was beaten in the viral video. Nevertheless, you cannot remove beating in the process of a teacher impacting knowledge upon a child. So the government has to find a way to manage the situation, because we are Africans, we are not Westerners. In the light of that, we should not follow the principles and rules of the Western world, hook, line, and sinker. Our government should look at a way in which they can manage that. Meanwhile, I'm not saying the teacher should not be disciplined, because it's a clear case of maybe transfer of aggression or bad behavior on her part to be hitting a 3-year-old child in the way she did. But disciplining a child must involve, in one form or the other, beating, spanking, or whatever. That's my position. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your position. And when you said we're Africans beating, it came to we're Africans. Does that make us less human, or a herd of cow that needs stick to be moved around with when it comes to education? I appreciate your thoughts, but it still brings us down to how effective are these when it comes to raising our children. As a child growing up, I know how scared I was. There's this particular teacher who would go to her cupboard and she would bring out her red slippers with her cane that had a red band on it. And she'd say, it's cane time. As you can see, I've worn my red slippers, and I would deal with anybody. And that is, from that moment on, you've lost more than half of the children in class, because all they are seeing is that cane and not what it is you're saying as a teacher. That's all they see. But let's take some WhatsApp messages we have. We have a message from Gambo. Okay, we have a message from Oyibo Ame, who stays in Federal House in Lugbe. Says, please, I also want the authority to investigate how much the proprietress is paying. We'll get to this on the screen shortly, but let's take this. It says, please, I also want the authority to investigate how much the proprietress is paying for her also, if she has also been paid December salary. It's possible she's transferring aggression. This is just one out of many. True that. Transfer of aggression, but I believe as a teacher you hold a certain level of virtue and love for your children. That transfer of aggression should be the least of your problem. You're human, it's bound to happen, but you're a teacher and this is a child in front of you, not necessarily yours but someone else's child, and empathy and compassion should be something that would come to play fully. And then we also have this message from Oyibo Moses Ame. Oh yeah, we've already taken that. And then we have from Usman Gado. He said, hello. This is just one of many hidden brutalities that have gone unreported in our schools. In fact, the teacher should be dismissed. Disciplinary action against the teacher, like we've seen over and over again, has been taken. But it still boils down to this thing that is in our society. Is it right? Is corporal punishment the way to go when it comes to educating our children? Is corporal punishment... No, what's the thin line between discipline and abuse? We need to understand. And it's a very thin line between discipline and abuse. Would that cane be more effective than that, punishment or discipline you're giving to that child? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It is Shetima Kudimo come back again.
Thank you, Shetima, for calling back. Go ahead.
You see, Lilian, I sleep over my memory. I want to make this suggestion.
Okay.
Please, our laws makers, our Minister of Education, they have to take this as a law. When the time of recruitment comes for teachers, whether in private or in public, they should please go for psychiatric screening. Let everyone issue his psychiatric certificate that he's mentally okay. Because these things, how can you be caning a child? A minor for that matter. We know discipline is paramount important. Because nobody can do without discipline. Discipline is good, but it's not for corporal punishment. You have been caning a child of 3 years of age. It is not done in any society. So we have to be rational. And we have to know that by the time you are a teacher, you are trying to your duty is to inculcate knowledge into these children. But by the way you put fear into their mind, they will never understand you.
True.
Whatever you are teaching, whatever your contribution, they will never grab.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shetima, for that, which is something I've said over and over here again, that information, that knowledge you're trying to pass to that child would not sink so long as that cane is in your hand, or that child knows that he or she would be hit or beaten for not understanding what you're saying. All right, let's take this WhatsApp message. We have a message from General from New Jersey. General says, as the saying goes, spare the rod and spoil the child. The moral decadence of society today is because of the lack of discipline among children. You certainly need a cane to correct a child. Even a mere presence of the cane, they will behave. When a child misbehaves, he deserves to be punished, but depending on his or her age, but certainly not meting out a corporal punishment on a 3-year-old child. I believe when that is done, all this indiscipline will come to an end. Yes, General, we totally agree. And I love the fact that you clarified that spare the rod and spoil the child, which is something that we know. And yeah, the presence of a cane doesn't necessarily mean I would use it on you, but it shouldn't even be used on a 3-year-old child. They don't even understand what you're saying in the first place. You have to even make sure they understand what you're saying before you go ahead. The older they get now, you know, sometimes I will use this on you, behave yourself, but it's abuse. It is abuse on that child, like it or not. You're hitting the child, that information, everything you're passing is gone. All you have successfully done is putting in fear. That child sees you and the child is running. The child is thinking the other way around because of fear. Oh, if I do this, some of them even act confused because they don't even know how to act when you're with the cane, or they know that you always hit them. As an adult, you wouldn't want that to happen to you. So why then we talk about domestic violence, husband hitting wife, it is wrong, or wife hitting husband is wrong, and then we're defending hitting children? It's just, it's not making sense to me at this point in time. We have also a message from Abdullahi Jibril from Maiduguri. He says, my views on it is terrible. Causes nothing but emotional damage and character weakness. In Europe, it is also strictly prohibited to beat up anyone, let alone a child. Even if it is your child, in the eyes of the law, it is a person worthy of, even if it is your child, in the eyes of the law, a child is a person worthy of respect. And the worst part of it is, the most damaging one is the talk that comes afterwards, where abuser says they did it because they love them. Then the child has no choice but to equate love to abuse and become either a victim or an abuser. Act to your child the way you want your child to act towards you when you're old, with respect and dignity. Especially do not take your child's dignity away. Never, under no circumstance, take your child's dignity. Read on raising children from a proper literature, and not a place such as this one. Please do not abuse children. Do not abuse children. When children see abuse or beating as a form of love, that's when you see children who grow up to become abusers. And let's not forget, it's not just skin, there's also verbal abuse. The words you use on your children do matter. Even as teachers, the words you use on children matters a lot, and it sinks. Some children, you hear some children say, I prefer my mommy beats me than when she quarrels. The words from your mouth are powerful, and they impact that child one way or another. And also the beating too. it has psychological effect on this child. You find out that you raise timid children who can't even communicate. Even as adults, you find adults who are talking to you and their heads are down. They can't look up and talk to you to your face because they are used to being beaten by their parents. They have zero confidence. They cannot speak up in public. They cannot talk. They can't say their mind. They have no opinion of their own. That is what happens when you hit children and when you beat children and you take away their dignity and their confidence when you do these things to them. I love children who are outspoken. Children who say their mind, not minding what or who. To some people, it might be rude because you don't, when you say children are rude or a child says their mind to you, it's because you as an adult, you don't have the ability to accept the truth or to accept the fact that a child has a mind of his own. So please, in as much as we're talking about discipline or trying to discipline a child, there's a thin line between discipline and abuse. And we have to be clear and really honest with ourselves when it comes to that. Discipline shapes behavior, but the methods we choose defines the impact it has on these children in the long run. Corporal punishment may enforce obedience and fear, but at what cost to the child's self-confidence in the future? I mean, as a society, we must ask, are we building character or are we inflicting scars on these children? True discipline actually nurtures. It does not harm. That is one thing we should take home with us. But do not go anywhere. We'll be doubling back on this conversation. This is just my view. We would have an expert in the studio with us who would throw more light on it, explain the differences and the thin line, and tell us the right way to properly educate our children, especially early ages and even the older ones in general.